Okay, I think we're recording, so we'll record this in case, you know, there's something that you miss and you want to refer back to the recording, we'll have that. So I'll just introduce myself first. My name's Emily Shoddick. This is my colleague, Louis Bojorquez. Did I say that right? Okay, Louis. So we're both here visiting from Washington, D.C. We both work for the American Psychological Association, and we're here just doing trainings about Academic Writer, which is a resource that your library actually pays for you to have access to. And it's a tool, it's an online tool to help you with writing your papers. So APA style is the focus since we're APA. So if you do not write papers in APA style, you might not find this as helpful, but you still can see some other resources in here they're not just 100% focused on APA style, but also just writing and research in general. So I'll just kind of jump in. I'm going to do an overview of the tool today, but first thing I want to show you is how you actually get to it, how you access this. So it's called Academic Writer. This is your Emporia library, right? Yeah, this is your library page. So there's probably multiple ways to get to this, but when I just went to the page, the easiest way I saw is just to go to databases. Hot already. And then in this A to Z list, you just want to choose, it's right up here at the top, Academic Writer, and then American Psychological Association, APA, in parentheses. So once you click on that, when you're on campus, I think it will automatically take you straight to Academic Writer, so you'll be authenticated. When you're off campus, it will take you to like your Emporia login page that you've probably seen if you're accessing other databases. It'll look the same. So log in with your Emporia credentials first, and then it will take you to this Academic Writer page, okay? So that's how you get to it. You might also have some of your online courses in Canvas. So some of your instructors might set up Academic Writer in your Canvas courses. So you might also access it that way, but you can always get to it here through your library. Okay, so first off, first thing you want to do if you have not is create your own account. So everyone should have their own personal Academic Writer account. It's not just that we're trying to make you memorize another password, because I know we have so many, but really it is so that you can save and contain all of your personal work. So all of the references that you would add into Academic Writer and any papers and anything that you favorite in the Learn Center, you can save in your own personal account. So to do that, from the home page, you just want to come up to the Welcome drop menu at the top and choose Login. If you already have an account, you can go ahead and log in. Otherwise, you can click on the Create an Account link and just fill out this pretty standard form with your information. You can use any email address. It does not have to be your Emporia address. You can use any one. And then choose a password, accept the terms here, and then just click Create an Account, and then you're ready to go. So if you ever have issues with your account or logging in, there is our email address right there on that page. So you can contact us with that if you're having login problems. So let me just come back to the home page and I'll go ahead and log in. Okay, so now that I can see up at the top there, next to the welcome, it says my name, Emily. I know that I'm totally logged in, so I'm good to go. A couple other things just to get you kind of oriented here. In that same welcome dropdown, If you click on the site help page, this will take you to some training resources that Lewis and I and our colleagues have worked on. So these are just resources here to help you to learn how to use Academic Writer. So different topics here. This page, we have a collection of handouts. So there's a handout, say, on how to create an account. There's a handout about adding in-text citations, and these are just PDF links so you can get an idea of what these look like. So they're like annotated screenshots that help you step by step how to do this task. Then also there are some troubleshooting documents here. So there's a login help page. If you're ever having issues with your login, you can refer to that. Also down here on the bottom right, there is a link to our YouTube page. So this page has just a small collection of some recordings that we've made of different webinars and trainings. There's also just a quick, which one is it? This starting a paper is a quick 3-minute video on just how to get started with a paper. So some videos there. If I come back up to the top right corner, you'll see there's also a webinars page. We do 3 different series of webinars. So you're free to join these. They're open to anyone, they're free. So we have like an introduction that's gonna be similar to the information I'm presenting today. And then on the far right, there's a quick 30-minute webinar that's just to help you get started with a paper. Okay, let me close these. All right, also at the top right, you'll see my file cabinet. This is where you can quickly access your work. So any of the references that you've been working on, papers, or anything that you've added to my favorites collection, which I'll talk about in just a couple of minutes. And then down at the very, very bottom of the page, our contact information is the bottom left corner. So you can reach out to us if you have questions or if something's not quite working the way you think it should, we can help you with that. And there's also a link to that site help with handouts, that page down here also. Another thing I like to point out in the bottom right, we have some social media links down here, but another helpful link is this B. If you click on that, it will take you to the APA style blog. So this is a blog that APA has been creating content for years. I used to teach APA style as a librarian. I don't teach it so much anymore. I'm not an expert. But I remember anytime that I had a question or a student came to me with like a really weird reference to write, we would search for it in the blog, and pretty much I would say about 95% of the time I'd find an answer really quickly for what I was looking for. So that's a great resource for APA style questions. You can also, if you're not finding an answer to what you're looking for, you can contact our APA style experts through email, and they will respond to you. Okay. All right, so that's kind of the lay of the land there on the home page. Any questions at this point? Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep chugging along and show you kind of just an overview of all the centers here. So we have the Learn Center, Reference, and Write. I'm just gonna do a really fast kind of overview of some of the content that's here in this Learn Center. And then we'll spend most of the time looking at like how to manage your references and how to use the features to write a paper. So in the Learning Center, these are just resources for you to help you learn APA style and help you learn research and writing. So first off, we have our quick guides and tutorials here. Those are the 2 types of videos that we have. The quick guides are going to be shorter videos. They're about 2 to 5 minutes long. They cover more specific to APA style topics. There's also a basic setup video in there that's just a few minutes long. So especially if you're new to APA style, those are great to check out. They're quick reference type videos. You can watch them in just a few minutes and learn how to do a more specific APA style task. Then we have our tutorials. These are longer videos. They're up to about 30 minutes long. These are going to be more in depth. So some topics like, let me go into those to show you. I always prefer to browse by topic up here. So then if I choose, say, writing, there's how to avoid plagiarism and self-plagiarism. And there's also a getting started with APA style. So if you're newer to APA style, or if you just want a quick overview, or excuse me, a more in-depth overview, that getting started video is a good place to start. And then you'll see up in the top right, these green stars next to all of these learning objects up here. If you click that green star, it will add to your favorites collection so that if you want to review the video later or just save it for the future, you can easily access that in your favorites, which show up here at the end in my favorites tab. So this one's already in my favorites. Click it. There we go. Then next we have self-quizzes. These are just for your own self-assessment. There's 10 of these. They're not really gradable. Some of your instructors might ask you to do these for a grade, but really they're in here just for you to kind of do a quick assessment of your own knowledge. Then there's samples, many different types of samples for you to refer to. So first we have our sample papers. There's 17 of these. You can choose a specific type of paper that you might be working on, and these are all described in the publication manual. So then you can view, if you're a more visual person like me, you can see exactly, where should my title go? Where should my header go and my page numbers? So that's a good resource. And then next to the papers, we have sample references. So there's 152 of these. So if you are working on a specific type of source and you're writing a reference or creating a reference from scratch, you can come into these to get an example of how those references should be formatted. So say I can choose journal article. This is in the list view right now. You can also choose this grid view to have them all kind of display here on the same page. So just, I always found working with samples when I was learning APA style to be pretty helpful. I can see exactly how that type of source should be formatted. And you can add all these to your favorites as well. Then also we have sample tables. So if you are presenting information in your paper in a table, APA does have pretty specific guidelines for that. So you can come in here and see an example of these different types of tables. And then there's also sample figures. So if you're using images, graphs, photographs, things like that in your paper, you should format them in this specific way for APA. All right, so that's kind of a quick review of the Learning Center. Any questions about any of that content? It's kind of, I like to just kind of explore around in there and see, what's most applicable to you and the papers that you're writing. But I do find that there's a lot of helpful content for sure. Okay, and then also this search box here, everything's searchable. So if you're looking for like a reference, a specific type of reference, you can use that search box to find what you're looking for. Okay. So next I just want to talk about references. So this dark green tab here is the Reference Center. So with Academic Writer, you can pull references into the product. so that you can easily attach them to your papers. And I'll show you how to do that when we get to the Writing Center. But here in the Reference Center, you have two options. First, you can go to My References, and My References is your full reference list. So everything, all of the references that you add in. And then Add References is how you just bring new references into Academic Writer. So first, My References, this is, think of it as like your whole reference library. So when I add new ones, they will just be added to this list. You can sort them. They'll automatically sort in alphabetical order. You can also sort them by date, title, reference type, and date added. So that can help you find what you're looking for here if you're looking for a specific reference. Because there's not, as you can see, it just kind of like lumps them all together in this big list. So that's one way you can find what you're looking for. You can also use this search box up here. So one kind of good method we found is to, and method to organize your references is to, in the notes section, you can add like, I'll just put like the name of the class or paper or project, and you can save that in there. And then when you go to search, it basically like tags that reference. So it will search and find that reference there. So it's kind of a workaround to find what you're looking for, because a lot of our customers have mentioned that they would like to see folders or some more organization, but that's just kind of an easy way that you can find what you're looking for. Okay, I'll go back here and then I'll show you how to actually add references to that list, to that reference library. Okay, so just click Add References. First off, you can create them from scratch, basically, using the forms that our APA style experts have created. So first job you have is to actually identify what type of source you have that you're creating a reference for. So these are all of our different forms. So categorize by topic, basically. So we have periodicals, books, meetings, reports, audio-visual, reviews, dissertations, many types of sources. There's websites, social media down here. I'll just show you journal article. It's a pretty common type of source to use. And then you'll just see a form. It's going to walk you through step by step each section of the reference that's required. And it is, this is unique to this type of reference. So each form is unique depending on how that source should be referenced. Okay, so author, it'll walk you through author, date, title. It'll show me exactly in each box what should be included here. But there's also help all along the way, I feel like. So if you click on this little question mark, so say I was still unsure, about what goes in those boxes, click the question mark, you'll see a box of information. This information comes from the publication manual. It will give you guidance. There's an example up here in the top corner. And then also it will link you to something in the Learning Center so you can review that content. So if you wanted to learn more about how to write a reference for a journal article, you can go watch this quick guide. Okay, so gonna walk you through step by step. There's also tools here to help me with my capitalization formatting. So if you focus on the title section and the source. So for article titles in APA style, There's some weird formatting. You actually have to format them in sentence case. So you would have the first word of the title would be capitalized, and then anything after a colon. So everything else is not capitalized like we're used to seeing most titles. So if I were to type in, let's say, of my article, very original. So I typed it in my title and click on this button here that says format and sentence case. Okay, so it tells me a little note. They have formatted the entry, but I'm still responsible for my work here. I have to check any proper nouns so that I'm responsible for that. So it doesn't recognize proper nouns. So, okay, I'll click on that. And you can see that it has adjusted the capitalization here according to APA style for my journal title article, or journal article title. Said that backwards. And then it does the same for the source. So if I had like, what's a journal name? So that's my journal name. And if I click format into title case, it will adjust the capitalization there to be correct APA style. So just a quick little kind of check for yourself to make sure that you are getting your formatting correct. Other things in this form, you can add notes. You can also add quotations so that if you are doing your research and you find like, oh, there's a perfect quote, I'm definitely going to use it in my paper, you can go ahead and copy and paste or type it here so that when you are writing your paper, you'll be able to drop that quote right in where it fits naturally for you. And then cite the quotation as well. Okay, so after you fill out all of this information, you would just click add to my references. It will do its magic, format the reference for you, and put it into your reference collection. So then it will be ready to be added to a paper. Okay, so that is one option for adding references. The next option is to import. So this is probably an easier, little bit less time-consuming option for you because you'll be able to pull in references and it will format them for you. So if you are, what's a database that you guys use? Do you use ProQuest, maybe? What was that? RefWorks. Okay, so RefWorks would be like a reference manager, but that's a great example also. So these are just examples of like databases and also reference managers. So if you use RefWorks right now to store your references, you'll be able to pull them in from RefWorks. So the way this works, you just want to choose the file origin here, which should be RefWorks. From RefWorks that you're in, you would want to choose an export option and export what's called an RIS file. This type of file, it looks like a notepad document. It's just plain text. And it basically allows two different programs to communicate citation information. So it'll just look like a long list of like author, title, edition, whatever. It'll just have all that citation information. So you'll export from RefWorks, upload your RIS file here, and then once you do that, click submit. It will pull those references in and then put everything into APA style format. So just a bit of a disclaimer when you're doing that. I would say especially when you're pulling references in from like a database like ProQuest or EBSCO, one of the EBSCO databases, not always is the reference going to be in perfect format. So one good thing that this does, it kind of gives you an alert. So you'll see a bright red exclamation mark if something seems off. So if it seems like there's information missing, if the first and middle name seem off with the author, or if the capitalization is off, it's going to alert you to that so that you can go back and then fix it. Okay, so pretty helpful. Questions about importing references? It seems like a little clunky at first, but I think once you go through the process a few times, it is pretty quick and definitely faster than, you know, writing your references from scratch. Okay, did you have a question? You look like you did.
I was just going to ask
yeah.
The databases. So like ProQuest, or I think I got them confused.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, so if you use ProQuest databases to find articles, then in ProQuest, along with your references, you would choose an export, or sometimes it says save or export, and choose a RAS file. Save that file on your computer, and then when you come here to Academic Writer, choose the correct file and hit submit, and it will pull the references in, and you can do multiple at a time. Okay. Okay, the last option here is a search. So this is kind of unique for us because APA manages this database called Citations. So if you use that database, this feature will be very helpful. If you don't, it might not be so much. But Citations, database of psychology, behavioral science, information. So those references in Citations are already formatted in APA style since APA maintains that database. So from here, you can pull those Citations references directly in if you use Citations. So if you did your research in Citations, found your articles, it's kind of like a known item search here. So you can search by the author, by the title of the article, and find what you need here, and then just pull it directly into Academic Writer. So this doesn't give you like full access to the database, it's just a known item search for the actual references. Make sense? Kind of? Okay. All right, so that, now you know how to bring references into Academic Writer. If you have an account and you want to just kind of experiment with adding references to paper and things like that, one way here using this search tab is a nice quick way to just pull in some random kind of experimental references. So if you wanted to just search, you can also search by topics here. I'll just do like basic search just to, if you just want to add some content to your account. So I just did a quick search here, and then you can just select some of these references and click on add to my references. And then you'll have some references in your reference library to experiment with, if you like. So then other than that, I'm going to just jump right through, and we can talk about writing for the rest of our session here, which is perfect because we have just about 30 minutes. Okay. So from the Writing Center, so in Academic Writer, you can actually write your papers and then save them to the cloud so that you'll be able to access them anywhere you go, that you have a computer, that you can, you know, be online and access Academic Writer. So first off, you can start a new paper. So I can walk you through, and we can all just start a brand new paper together. It's pretty simple. So you just want to click on write a new paper. Then the first page you'll see is this option to select a template. If you don't have one of these specific types of papers that you're working on, you can choose the basic paper down in the bottom right corner, and it's just going to be a blank template, but you will see it will also have some guided information for you. Also on this page, you can view sample papers as well. So you can choose your template. I'm going to choose this multi-experiment so I can show you how the heading levels work. So also it's going to ask me how I plan to use the paper. So I'm guessing you're going to choose the student assignment. The professional manuscript option is just a little different because it includes things that you would need if you're submitting a paper to be published. So things like an author note, abstract, keywords. So you just want to choose student for this. If your instructor did tell you you should have an abstract, you will be able to add that in. So you're not locked into it. So student assignment, click submit. Next thing you need is just a title for your paper. From here, if you want to, if it works best in your workflow, you can choose to start adding references right away and start building your reference list. Otherwise, you can just click start writing. And this will take you into, this is just asking me if I need help. I can go to that site help page. I'll just close that. So now you can see it's taken me straight into the full paper editor. This multi-experiment type of paper has my headings pre-formatted. So based on the guidelines in APA style manual, the multi-experiment paper should be formatted like this with a study 1, method, results, discussion, and then it would go to the next study, study 2, and so on. Any questions about starting a new paper? If you guys want to follow along, please feel free and let me know if you have any hiccups. Okay. Okay, so let me show you, first off, to organize your paper in APA style, it uses headings and different heading levels. So the study 1 would be our level 1, method, results, discussion, those are all our level 2. Study 2 goes back to level 1, and then method, results, discussion back to level 2, and so on. So kind of you can see the outline it creates over on the left side here. So every time I add a new heading, that's going to add a new section over here. And also in this outline, I can click on a section and it will jump to that so I can work on that specific section. So if you need to edit the level of heading, the heading level that you have, all you need to do is highlight the heading that you want to change because all of the headings have very specific formatting so that you can visually see in your paper what that heading level is, and so it separates them from each other. So say I want to change this to a heading 3. All I need to do is highlight that, click on it, and it will automatically change the formatting, whether it's you know, italics, bold, indented, if there's punctuation, it will do that for me. You can also see in the outline on the left side, it visually represents those changes that I make so that you can get a quick overview of these sections of your paper. You'll also see in this paper template, there is some guidance information in there in italics, so it describes what would typically go in that section. Once you click on it and start typing, that will go away, so you don't have to worry about it interfering. But say you wanted to see what that said again, you can come up here and click this show related help ? And you can see that same content when you click on these sections here so you can learn about, you know, what exactly should go in that section of your paper. Okay, then there's more help. So different sections of your paper, different contextual help that refers back to or corresponds with what you're working on. So if you wanted to learn more about headings, if you're still not quite getting it, under this related help section, you can click on headings. Then you'll see all of this information here that is going to describe how headings work in APA style, so straight from the publication manual, and then also how to format headings using Academic Writer. Keep scrolling down. It's also gonna take me to this Learn More section where I can refer to, say, this heading level quick guide if I'm still wanting to learn a little more. Okay. So next thing, so we've started our paper. We have some headings down. Let's next look at how to add a title page to your paper and how to format that. So over on the left side, actually, I'm going to go to a different paper to show this that already has some information in it. So I'll use this practice paper. Second while it loads. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to the main menu on the left side. Underneath right, you can choose title page. And to create your title page in Academic Writer, you're not going to, free type it like you would in Microsoft Word and have to adjust all the spacing and your header and stuff like that. So you'll use a form. So your title should already be in there because you entered it at the beginning. Then you just need to choose your running head. And all you need to type in here is the abbreviated title there in all caps. And then this common information that would be included, like the date, professor, course, things like that. Next, you can save and go to the next page. And this is where you enter in your name, your author information. So your name, and you can include your affiliation here if you like. So once you fill out all of these boxes for your title page, all you need to do, I can close out of this. Whoops. Here we go. And I can go to preview. So I filled out my whole title page form. And then voila, you have your running head all set up, which I know is a pain to format in Word. I used to have in the library a whole sheet of steps just to format the running head so that it properly had like a different first page, if you know what I'm talking about. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it will automatically format your running head there at the top with your page number and all of your title page information perfectly centered and formatted as it should be. And then if you go to the next page, you can see it drops that running head in the header, and then continues the page numbers. And then you can see the body of my paper, and I can see all the way to the end where I have my list of references formatted. So the preview is for you to look at what does my paper look like, at any point as you're working on it. Okay. So we're on our way with our paper. We have our title page. We'd have headings set up. The next thing that you might want to do is add some references to your paper. So we're kind of creating, I think it's great, Academic Writer kind of creates that whole framework, like takes care of all the formatting things quickly so that you can really focus on the quality of your writing and the content of your paper. So we're kind of just like knocking through all of these things that we have to take care of, and then you can work on the real meat of your paper. So next thing, let's just add some references to the paper. So if I scroll down below the paper body, you'll see this screen, this page down here right below is where you can add any additional elements. So this is where you'll add your references to your paper. You can also add tables, figures, footnotes, and appendices if you need to. But we'll just go through how to add a reference to this paper. So in my paper here, I've already added several references. So anything next to the reference that has this green cited square, that just means that it's already been cited in my paper. And then if it doesn't have that, I have not cited it yet. So if I need to add a new reference to this paper, all I need to do is click Add New Reference up here. So then it's going to take me to my references, which we know is my full reference library. So I've already added several references at this point to my reference library. So now I'm adding it to a paper. So I already have my references in here. Let me scroll back. Here we go. So all you need to do to add these to the paper is check the box next to them. I'll just choose a bunch here and then click Add to Paper. So it tells me up here in the top right, it's been added to my paper reference list. Then you can just close out this little X. So click that and it's going to take me back to my whole paper. So then if I come down to my references, I'll see, I think it's going to be on the next page here. Yep, here's all the references that I just added brand new to the paper. Okay. Any questions? Pretty simple. Okay, so then once you're at a point where you have your references added to your paper and you're ready to start writing, and as you're writing, you know that you need to cite your sources that you use in your paper. So any source that you use throughout your writing, you need to cite that. So Academic Writer has a tool to help you format your citations. So if you need to cite a reference, all you need to do is click your cursor exactly where you want to cite your source. So giving credit to the author who wrote the information from your source. So I'll click my cursor there. There's a few ways you can do this. You can come up to Insert and choose Find and Cite Reference. Or you can use the right click on your mouse and you'll get the same menu. So Find and Cite Reference. Or my preferred method is just to click where I want to cite, come straight down to my references here, then choose the reference I need to cite and click on the Cite button. Okay, then at that point, it's going to ask for just a bit of information to help format the citation. So first is your citation, parenthetical, or narrative. If you are unsure about what this is asking, if you hover over the question, it will give you an explanation over there on the right side. So parenthetical is going to, refers to the work cited completely in parentheses, and then the narrative is going to be working the author's name into the writing of the paper and then putting just the publication year in parentheses. And then next question, is it a quotation? So you can choose no or yes if it is a direct quotation. So I'll just choose no for this one and click Submit. And it does automatically save your work about every 30 seconds and then anytime that you do an action. Okay, so let me come back up to my paper and I can see where my cursor is. It has dropped that citation exactly where I told it to. So you might have to adjust the spacing just a bit, but you can see it's got my author's last name, comma, year of publication, everything in parentheses, and a period at the end. So I've got my citation in, done with that, I can move on. One thing I like to mention with these, let's see, you can look at one I've already entered. So in the APA style, the citation formatting can get a little complex. I don't know if you're familiar with, there's a chart in the publication manual that explains authors in citation formatting. So because that formatting can change a bit, depending on the number of authors you have and the number of times you cite it in your paper. So you can pretty much disregard that chart if you're using Academic Writer because it's going to keep track of it for you, which is very helpful. So if you look at, whoops, try not to fall. If you look at this citation right here, it has multiple authors. 1, 2, 3, 4, has 5 authors. So Academic Writer is going to format, if there's an ampersand, it will format that for you. So this is the first time that this source has been cited in this paper. So we list out all 5 authors. The next time and every other time after that, highlight this, you can see this adult, yep, there we go. This is that same source. It's in a quotation, but it's in that, this is that same source cited. So this subsequent time after that, you would list the first author and then et al. To represent all the other authors. And it's really so you don't have to keep listing all the authors over and over. So it will keep track of that for you. So a nice time saver for you. Does that make sense? I know it's a little weird to explain, but you don't have to worry so much about like counting the number of authors and the number of times you've cited something. Yes.
If you, another thing that this does as well is, like Emily explained, it keeps count, right, of how many times you cited. Emily, if you delete that citation, it would automatically, well, not that one, but
this one.
Yeah. You'll see that it'll automatically update the citation at the bottom, well, hopefully.
Yeah, it takes a second.
And it takes it back to, because it was already cited more than once. So that's like, one of the good things about Academic Writer, as Emily keeps explaining, is that there's so many rules about APA style, and what this does is just simplifies it, right? So as long as you're doing the correct things, like you need to cite, you need to do it in the right place. If it's multiple citations, then Academic Writer starts taking care of all the rules for you.
It does. But it's not going to write your paper for you, unfortunately. Maybe someday. No. Yeah, so that's a very good point. If you delete a citation, it will adjust everything to change the formatting for you. Any questions about citing? Yeah, so even at this point, if you've added some references, if you've started a paper, created a title page, if you add some in-text citations, pretty much all you have left to do is write the paper. So really here to help you with the formatting things that can be time consuming. I remember times just being up at 3 in the morning fighting with Microsoft Word because like one little indentation would not do what I wanted it to. So I think that's just kind of a nice benefit. But otherwise, let's see, we have a few minutes. Can show you a few more things. First off, let me show you how to actually get your paper out once you are finished. So once you're all done writing your paper, ready to turn it in to get an A, you can come down here to this export and click on that. You have 2 options. You can email it to yourself or to someone else, and it will email in a Microsoft Word document. So you can export to Word. So if you need to go back and still make edits even after you've exported, you can also make edits in Word. That's just an option that you have. So then also you can download your paper to Microsoft Word or to PDF. And also here with the export, you have the option to just export your references on their own if you like. Then just a couple other things I can show you that might make your life a little easier. We have these check tools here over on the left side. There we go. These are just some things to help you double check your work for accuracy. So you can check your headings, you can check the headings order, or check for orphan headings. Orphan headings would be like if you had just one heading level without something underneath it. In APA style, you should have multiple headings under a level or none, if that makes sense. Kind of hard to explain. You can also check your references. So this is going to do, if I click on that, a quick check on all my references. So this is exciting. It checked my references, and congrats, all of my references have the elements required. So pretty cool. Probably because I pulled most of those in from the PsycInfo option. But if you had something like missing information or capitalizations were off, it will catch that here so that you can at least know where to look for those mistakes so that you can go back and fix them. And you'll see like a bright red exclamation mark if you need verification. And then this match reference citations. These will make sure that all of the references on your paper have been cited in your paper, because in APA style, everything that's in your reference list should be in the paper. And if it's not, then you should just remove it from the reference list. So if I do a quick run of this check, it has found some that have not been cited, and it will show me this little red flag. So let's go to the paper. So you can see here in my reference list, anything that I have not cited has a flag next to it now. So I know to delete it or cite it. Okay. And then also it will do the same for, whoops, I just lost my spot. There it is. If you have tables and figures in your paper, it will make sure that those have been called out as well. Okay. What else? There's a settings option, well, several settings option. So if you say one of your instructors someday has they're kind of stubborn and just have a rule that they want you to follow, even though it's outside of APA style, which they can do because they're the instructor, they're in charge. Maybe they want you to use single spacing or something to save paper. You can come in here and just have more flexibility with the formatting. So you can change things like the fonts and the line spacing. And then if you do change things, whoops, let me come up here. Whoops. If you change things like the margins or the page orientation, you know, maybe you have a table or a figure that looks better in landscape. You have the option to do that. And if at any time you need to go back to APA style default, you just click on restore default and it will adjust it for you. Okay. All right. I think I've covered a lot. I feel like I've thrown a lot of information at you guys. So do you have questions, or what can we do to help you out?
Is there a way to recover a previous save file? Because it automatically saves, sometimes it's going to save things like save that.
Oh, so you mean like different versions of paper? So there's not right now. It's something that our product people are actually working on developing right now. The best thing to do would use the undo option and just go back to what you want to go back to, if that makes sense. Yeah. But there's not versions available, right? But if you ever have like an issue with losing some, if you're working on something you want to get something back that you lost or wrote over, you can contact us and we can have our IT people go in and recover that for you. Yeah. Okay. Anything that we can come up with? Did you start a paper in here? Kind of. Yeah, that's good. It just kind of helps you learn the features. So do you think that you would use this to write a paper? Yeah. Do you like it? Yeah. Okay.
Was she asking about starting a new paper, or is that?
You mean to start a brand new one? That's a good question. So this will be now saved in your papers. So if you just want to start a brand new paper, you can come over here to the right, and then just click write a new paper. So see if you come up to my file cabinet and click on my papers, you can see that paper that you just started is right there, and then you can add as many papers as you want. Yeah. Other questions? So you're studying language. Okay. What are you studying?
Library.
Oh, you are. Okay, cool. And you use APA style?
Yeah, that's what they're requiring now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We didn't have a set standard.
That's what I was.
I think I did MLA mostly.
Yeah, yeah, and now that, they are definitely requiring APA, so, and I do liaison work with library science programs, so I really had to get myself up to speed.
Oh, yeah.
APA.
I remember I didn't start really seriously learning APA style until I started working as a librarian, and all of my students had APA style. I'm like, and they were like, go to the librarian, she can help you.
Sure,
And I was like, sure, let's look at the blog.
Yeah, we switched on citation styles, no problem.
Yeah, but yeah, every school I worked at had APA style. I worked at a nursing college, they're totally APA style. So I didn't know that about libraries.
Yeah, at least here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Very good. So does APA style stress you out, or does it stay? Okay. Good. I'm serious.
With this summer, I did do a Chicago style because that's just going to be special.
I find it actually a little easier than some.
Chicago.
I don't know Chicago
I
style
don't.
at
I
all.
only learned MLA. Like
Yeah.
that's all I wrote.
Chicago and MLA are very, very close. The only difference is with Chicago style, there's a version of Chicago style that does author date very similar to APA, and then there's another version that does footnotes and endnotes. So that's a little bit more similar to MLA in the way you do that, but I don't like Chicago.
Yeah.
I'd rather do APA.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, if you do think of questions, if you send an email to that email address, they'll come straight to us. Like, we're the ones on there, so
That's awesome.
we will, yeah, we will respond. Okay. You are so welcome. I hope this was helpful.
Are we allowed to take some?
I was gonna say,
Oh yeah, please.
Yes,
I was looking at
Stay.
that, like, I don't know.
No, these are little phone grips.
Yes.
So
That's
they
what
can
I was-
also like prop your phone up. And then we have some highlighters, post-it books. Help yourself to anything, snacks.
Please.
Take extra cookies.
My teacher requires us to put page numbers with the index citations. Is that, like, I noticed it was
Yeah.
on them, but no.
Yeah, so in GK style with a direct quotation, you would have a page number. So that's interesting. So she, even if you paraphrase, she wants you to add a page number.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay. So like here, let me show you real quick because I have heard some instructors will do that. They want a page number for every citation, which is a little.
That's how I did
That's
it.
a little intense.
She might.
Well, I don't know if MLA is different, but that's how.
So if you do need to do that, what would you do? You can
That's it. Just
either,
do it into citation with quotation.
yeah, that's what I would do. I was trying to think if, would she want to just add in a page number here?
Well,
Or
you have it similar to the one that's the group in text citation that has the.
yeah, but I mean, if she has to include a page number, but it's not a direct quote. So there's a couple ways. You could just add in the page number, or if you're adding a direct quote, which I didn't actually demo, but I will now. So if I come down to, oops, choose a site and choose, is this a quotation? Yes. Here's where you can enter in a page number. So exactly where that quote came from. You can also enter a paragraph if it's, say, from the web and it doesn't have page numbers. And then you would enter your quote here, or if you didn't have a quote, I think you can leave it blank, but, oops. And then just click submit. And then it will drop that quotation directly where you told it to. So right here. So see, there it has the page number included with it.
Emily, if you don't put any quote, does this I mean, obviously that part doesn't come out.
I think it would just, yeah, it would just drop it in the citation and have a blank space.
Okay.
We can try it. I don't know. I've never done that. Because someone else was telling me that they require page numbers for every citation. Submit. Yep, I think it'll just be blank. Where's the one I just put?
Right there. Oh no, let me see it.
I don't know what it was.
Oh, right there, right in the middle. Your cursor's right there.
This
Scroll
one?
down a little bit. Scroll down. Scroll down. It's the right after study 1.
Oh, this. Yeah. Okay.
So
So
that might be helpful.
you can do it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I won't have to type in a quote.
Yeah, yeah. Or and mess up the formatting, you know, just keep it easier instead of going back and trying to change something there.
Thank you. You're welcome.
When are you guys done with your degrees?
Next fall.
Next fall? Oh,
I just started.
oh. Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might be a while.
Semester earlier than I thought.